Hi, my name is Kirtana, and I write a blog on Substack called No BS Product Management. I am a principal product manager with about 15 years of experience, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to build a very simple app on Bolt. So today I want to help you understand how to build a simple web app using Bolt. So I want to build a very simple storybook app for kids between 1 to 2 years old with small stories with imagery so that parents can read it to them. What would be fun is to have the names of the characters as the kid's name, maybe have a pet, an animal of the kid's choice. So it's basically a custom storybook app. Um, it would also be nice to have an image. So this is what I will start with the prompt. So it's a storybook app. We just want to keep it simple in the beginning with 5 stories. This is important because sometimes Bolt goes into complicated loops and it's hard to come out. So it's good to put a constraint. As I said, it should be customized for the kid's name, and it should have like a nice Disney sort of an image of the kid and the scene of the story. We want to keep the story very simple and maybe have some good morals, and it should be a simple, responsive web app. So let's see what Bold does. So right now, Bolt is working. What it does is it creates different files for the code. Based on the requirements, it starts writing the code on its own. If you see on the right side, it's writing the stories. Like there is story number one is called the sharing garden, story number two. And if you see, there is a child name, pet name is girl or boy, and there is a form where you can give the input to the stories, and that's what Bolt is building right now. And da 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 da, it's doing its magic. See how fast. Cool. So this is the first version of the app. I want to say my son's name is Surya. He is a boy. My pet's name is Gochi, and Gochi is a cat. So if we both kind of made its own options, I didn't get this. So let's see what Ford does. So there is a story here. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Surya. Surya loved playing in the garden. His faithful cat, Gochi. They found a magical flower that grew candies instead of keeping them. Surya shared with all the kids. Everyone was so happy. Surya made new friends. I think this is a good story, but obviously the image does not match with the story at all. One good thing that it did on its own is there is continuity to the next story right here. So if the kid is finished with the story, you can go and read the next one. But I think the first thing to do is fix the image. So let's see what we do. Before I go change and make this image better, one thing that looks like it's missing is how to go back to the home page. Right? So I'm button back to the home page. So let's add that. If you see what it's doing is it's again writing the page storybook.psx just to add a button. So this happens multiple times when you're coding. So you need to be very careful about the changes that we are making. Sometimes it may break something else. Let's see what happens now. Whether it's broken something or not. Okay, let's see. Surya. Boy. See, uh, so it's added a small homepage icon here. I don't think this is the most intuitive place to add it. But I'm not going to do anything about it right now. I'm just going to let it be. Another thing that we could do is the form looks very basic. Maybe the form can be a little more, a little nicer. So I'm asking it to make it nice and interactive. Maybe add icons for the animals. Also, the input fields don't really look like input fields. So if you see, I'm just giving basic instructions. I'm not writing carefully constructed prompts or anything. So let's see what it does. Again, it's writing the story form code. It's doing it from the beginning. It's going to change many things. I have seen sometimes in the past that it changes the entire page itself. So let's see what it does. Now, okay, it ran into a bug. Da, 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 da. I don't know what the bug is. Let's see. I can fix. So if you see, because it wrote the entire code again, instead of making small changes, it kind of ran into some error. I'm not sure if it is related to the new changes or the existing code itself, but it says it's an issue with the icon. So let's see. Cool. So if you see now the form looks much better. It looks the text boxes look big. I'm gonna put boy. Obviously the icons of heart don't make sense, but it's okay. I'm gonna say Gochi. Gochi is a cat. Let's say start magic. Once upon a time, da 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 da. There is a small story. I feel the story is not so readable. But yeah, that is a small change, and I just showed you how to make a small change. Now let's see how to make a big change. Okay, what I want to do now is change this image and bring a more fun kind of cartoon image. Maybe use DALL to look the same. So I want you to get the image from DALL. There should be one single image for the story. Make it a Disney like image, and it should have the character of the kid, the pet animal, and a scene from the story. So let's see what it does. So now it's going to integrate OpenAI DALL API into the code. Till now, it was just a static image which it had created on its own for each of the stories and hard coded in the code, and that's what it was displaying. But now it's going to be dynamic. For every story, it's going to hit the DALL API and bring the new image. Um, so that's what it's trying to do. It will ask for the OpenAI API key. Mine should already be stored, but I'm not sure. Let's check that. So there has to be a .env file in the code where we need to place the OpenAI key. So generally it creates. So I'm gonna ask, can you create the .env file? Well, something happened. Let's see what is it. Yeah, cool. So where is it? Where is the .env file? So it created the .env file, and yeah, this is here. So I need to remove these stars and I need to place my OpenAI key right now, which is what I will do. So to get the OpenAI key, you need to go to OpenAI platform. You need to create an account or login if you have, and then you need to go into the API keys, create a new secret key, and put it in a project of your choice. I have already done that. So what I will do right now is use this key and put it in the code. So when I now let's go back to Bolt. I have updated the key. Let's see what happens. It says that the integration is successful. Yep. Let's see. Yeah. Boy, Gucci, cat. It would also be nice to have some kind of loading animations or imagery while the story is getting created so that the kids are engaged. That is something that you could do. And let's see what image it creates. So let's go to the next story and see what happens. Okay, so there is an issue here. The story is changing. However, when I go to the next story, the image is remaining the same. So if you see, these are the kind of issues that board runs into. I'm not going to change the prompt. This is great. This looks good, but it's not changing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm asking board the image is not changing for every story. Can you check and tell me what is the issue before making code changes? So this is a trick that you can use before changing the code itself, since it overrides a lot of things. It's good to understand the logic to see if both is going in the right direction. It explains the code without making the changes. So the issues with currently navigating using the same image. This happens. Yes, so it is going to generate. There is an issue when we are going next. It's not changing. So it's telling me that it will generate a new image when the story changes. We are okay with this logic. So we'll say yes, go ahead. So in this case, the logic is okay, but sometimes what happens is it creates unnecessary complex steps, which we could avoid by asking for the logic, which is what I did now. So let's see what happens. As we saw earlier, there were prompts for different. Um, so let's use a new name. Let's say Anne. Anne is a girl, and pet's name is Pluto. Pluto is a dog. Let's see what happens. So there are two latencies here. I'm seeing one is for the story to come, and one for the image. And yeah, this is a good story, good image. It's about sharing garden, and I think it the imagery makes sense. And if I go to the next story, Let's see if it is creating a new image. So there is high latency while image gets fetched. So if you see here again, there is an issue, right? When we talked about Anne and we talked about the story reference, but I don't see Anne as a character here, and it is zoomed out uh, to show, which doesn't show the character itself. So, um, but before I go there, let us see if we can see a pattern in the next story as well. Yeah. So one thing that we should do, because we are talking about the same kid and the same pet, what we could do is keep the same style of character without changing it for each story. I am not sure whether it is possible. I have not done it in the past. So let me say that because the user is in a single kid's name, or sorry, because the story his stories are based on a single hit and his or her can be the same characters in images while we navigate to different stories. Tell me if it is possible before coding. So let's see if that helps. Yeah, so it is telling me that it is possible. I am not sure, but let's try and see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna use the same example of Anne, Pluto. Let's start the magic. This okay, let's see there is an issue. Oh, there is a content policy violation with the template. I think there is a default image. Okay. I'm not sure what kind of prompt is created to hit the content policy, but let's see what it does. Okay, let's see what it does. So these are the kind of issues that we will run into problems where um, you get a 70% okay prototype, but going to 100% is the problem. You need to spend time, and that's where time gets lost. Another thing that I wanted to talk about earlier was to optimize this loading time. Um, for each story, combination of gender and pet, we could save the image in our database so that it is kind of simple and fetches directly from there. So yeah, there is an image created. I think this image it it does capture the essence, but not really in a nice way. But I'm not going to optimize, so it will take time. So let's see if the consistency is maintained. I'm not sure if yeah. So if you see the same kind of character is coming for different stories, which is better because the kid can kind of uh, the kid can identify with the same character and the same dog. So this is good. So this is how we can do a DALL integration, simple DALL integration for a kid story app. Um, I we could definitely make more changes, like I was saying. We could fetch this from the database, or we could put it in the code and keep fetching the same thing. If we want to reduce the latency and the number of calls to DALL, we could just generate once if there are just 5 stories. But if we have more stories and stories are dynamic, obviously we cannot do that. The other thing that we could also do is to make the stories a little bigger, a little more readable because this is for small kids. Right now, the text is very small, so we could make it big and we could, optimize it further. We could also make this more intuitive, which is somewhere here. And I also want to show you that this would be responsive. So yeah, I think the images are being made for mobile. Looks like. Let's see. That's why they must be zoomed in. We would have to add something, or it would be nice to say, yeah. So the images are optimized for mobile, and that's why it's causing an issue. And right now, if you see, it's a good fun image that we have currently. Yeah, again, the alignment is broken. These are things which can be easily fixed. So another thing that we could do is once we've used and save the field in local so that we don't need to keep putting it again and again. That's another optimization we can do. You could just tell Bolt to store the input values in local so we don't need to fill again and again and it's going to do. So yeah, this is a basic tutorial of how to build a small fun app on board. I hope you enjoyed. Follow me at NoBS Product Management to get more such content. Thank you.